Exciting picks. It's Golden Guardians and Demonte pushing TSM into Bjergsen, saying, don't worry, this man loves his assassins. Let's bring out the Echo. It's a good pick. You ult the ult, and you're going to be really happy. And on the other side, maybe the single strongest support in League of Legends right now is Lux. Yes, this is still 10-16. The small shield nerfs are not in on this patch. She's still very good in 10-17, probably still pickable in pro play as well. But Lux is an absurdly good pick down to the bottom lane. Says, go ahead and answer with Karma. Your solo Q win rate's like 8% lower than mine. Like, we're good here. This is a stronger champion overall. I really like the Golden Guardians draft. I think this was very intelligent of them. I don't think TSM was like, inting their draft either. I know that was like a lot of the criticism that TSM got the first time around was it felt like they were never really able to move the champion pools around. This looks like a solid TSM draft, but Golden Guardians just looks better.
Yeah, I mean, I do always have concerns for drafts like what TSM is having, because you have relatively low engage against a team that wants to split push, right? And so when you're in these types of situations, you generally become incredibly dependent upon winning your laning phase, because then the way that you win the game is by being ahead so that you can go to the objective and force your opponent to come to respond, and then you kill them or you take the dragon or the Baron or whatever. That's generally how this has to be played out. Ashe engage is not enough, right? Sure, you can theoretically get these Vladimir flanks and stuff, but you don't have the go buttons on the TSM side. So I think that is going to be the concern for them against a team that wants to spread the map, that wants to split push them to death, with this Echo Shen. And they also have, more ways to start off fights with Echo going in, with the Stand United and these types of things. TSM going 5 bots, so maybe looking for some sort of wraparound or cheeky invade, maybe just going to camp in this brush and see if anyone came forward to actually go for a little bit of a warding mission, because sometimes people will just move in and look for that lane ward.
All right, well, they're going to try for it. I'm always a fan of seeing teams try stuff. Not going to happen, though. It does mean that if there is any kind of invade by Golden Guardians, no one's there to meet it. Early ward comes down from closer into the recall for the sweeper. Same exact play for Huhi. So both supports, both junglers playing for ward control overall. Sweepers early on, only 3 warding trinkets for either team at this point. And it looks like there won't be any big invasions, and it will be a very, very standard jungle start on both sides.
So what I really want to track about this bottom lane 2v2 is, can TSM get the push? Because I tend to think that against Caitlyn Lux, you must maintain the push, or it becomes nearly impossible to really get anything done in this. And we'll see, Demonte actually gets Lexu and that 3rd hit, so that's actually a really big deal to start things off. But basically the reason it's so important, specifically in this matchup, as Bjergsen is really getting punished, is because if you allow the Caitlyn Lux to push you in, what they will do is they will set up a trap line on one side of the turret, and then they will drop the Lux E on the other side of the turret, and it makes it nearly impossible to actually step forward and farm as the marksman player without getting poked. So you must maintain the push as Ashe here alongside the Karma. Throw out the volleys that hit not only the minions, but the enemy champions, so you get the bonus attack speed from the lethal tempo. Make sure that Biofrost is using the Qs to help push as well. Because if you can keep them locked in under their turret, it's so much easier to deal with the traps, to deal with the Lux stuff, because you don't have this tower kind of making the lane smaller for you, which makes it so much easier for your opponents to hit those skill shots.
Absolutely, and of course you can see the intent on how to play the lane different, of course, on both sides as well. Lux in, if you're playing her well, is actually a defensive support. You're going Guardian, you're maxing shield. You are doing your very best to guarantee that nothing ever dies. It actually works well against Poke because the shield is instant cast. It works well against All In because you have a bunch of base shielding on there as well. He's also running Exhaust in case there's ever that Vladimir dive. And it means that, yeah, he's going Relic Shield. He's going to wait, he's going to scale, he's going to get a Fiend, it's going to be fine. Biofrost and Doublelift really trying to push in the early few waves. They've got a CS advantage, they've got a health advantage, right? It's Doran's shield and the potion's already used by FBI. This is the kind of lane TSM and Doublelift want, and it's happening so far.
Exactly. It's all about that push here. And Spica
that's so
getting
smart.
on top of him. Phase rush is proc. Demonte's in trouble here. Oh,
His flash missed. He got the slow. He's getting away, but 2 more autos, just takes 1. The buck hits him in the face, and Spica puts him in the ground.
That was such poor timing. So unlucky there for Demonte. Spica with the perfect sense to be in the right spot at the right time, but he's going to TP in. They're going to try to collapse here. Spica does have his flash.
Burn flash. He flashes, then jumps over. But he'll get a shield and a slow. And Spica doesn't have his jump back. Hey, this is going to be double buffs. Thank you very much. Demonte needs 1 more spell. Buff transfer complete. Thanks for the cash money. Thank you very much. 300 more gold on the board.
With how long it took him, I wonder if Bjergsen couldn't have moved. Like, originally it looked like he was just going to instantly die. Yeah. Like, so I understand why Bjergsen didn't move, because it's looking like, okay, he's just insta-dead to this. But look at this. He slid over the wall right as he went to place the ward. So you're just doomed in this situation. Poor flash, though, from Demonte. I think you just kind of have to accept the death.
Yeah.
And, you know, at this point, like, this is actually just a really nice play because they had a bit of a push up on that top side. So Vladimir has first move. Demonte TP's back in with those home guards, you know, the little pity home guards there for dying early on in lane. And he's just going to get right in on top of him. But because he actually
minions
took so long,
walking over,
maybe a Scatter of the Week could have saved him there, but that's a really hard call to make, right? You don't want your wave to be doomed off of that.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Bjergsen in the minimap, like, walk over, then back, and then walk over, and then back. And he said, can I? Nope. Maybe only have 2 spells. And then, yeah, he finally came at the very end, and it was too late. So, yeah, tough call. End of the day, it is a close game. You can see a small gold lead live with TSM right now, 2 to 400 based on rounding and which camps go down. 7 CS lead for Double Lift down in the bottom lane. 5 CS lead for Broken Blade up in the top side. So far, so good. I mean, definitely a zany start, but TSM doing just fine.
Yeah, they are. Their laning phases are going well. The only concerning thing for TSM is of course, the double buffs plus the kill onto Demonte. You know, I talked about the only part of this matchup that generally feels really tough, unless you just get slammed as Echo, is the early laning phase, where you're kind of getting auto attack down, and if you get poked out, it can be rough. Well, red buff and blue buff help a lot with that, and Closer not quite spotted. So Closer has snuck in here undetected. We'll see if they can actually get on top of Biofrost. Because remember, Biofrost has no cleanse. So if you actually get a stun on him into a binding, he's just going to die.
Binding. Here comes the Q. Here comes a bunch of CC, and there is literally nothing you can do about this one. Goodbye to Biofrost. Light binding means death, and the gold gets tied.
That's rough for TSM because they were in such a good spot. Look how low the HP bars are over for Golden Guardians. So if they actually didn't get that gank to bail them out, they would have had to base with the wave potentially frozen on them, which would have given the TSM bottom lane an incredible advantage. So in the 2v2, TSM doing great, but Closer the one who really disrupts that and turns it around, lets them get that good base timing off, and now this lane will be much more comfortable than it was for the Golden Guardians.
At the very least, Vika punishes the bot lane gank with 2 camps poached away, so that's a nice 200 gold that the Volibear can't gain, and XP he won't grab either as he looks around and missing pings. He's like, yeah, the wolves are gone. The wolves are gone. Sorry about that one. All right, we'll walk up. Is the Gromp gone? Is the ward? There's a ward. Oh, Closer. He missed the ward, but he sees the Gromp is gone. He knows where the Graves was. It's going to be a recall on a top side, but hey, double longsword and boots. That's going to feel pretty comfortable. Vika is certainly very powerful in this game with first blood and a couple extra camp lead.
He's going to be looking pretty happy as far as the jungle 1v1. And then it just, of course, becomes, which is going to be more effective, which has more of an impact there. They are moving down towards this dragon. They have control over mid lane. They had the push there. And after that kill over in bottom lane, they have a bit of push there. So we'll see if they're going to be the ones to make the first move. Closer is spotted over by that dragon. And we'll have to find out if TSM can regain the push here in this bottom lane 2v2.
All right, well, minions going back and forth, minions getting dropped down. We'll see if the Drake ever does get attacked right now, as a defensive control ward will eventually be swept, but right now, Biofrost is holding that one. Mid pushed in by Demonte. Devil's helped him have lane control for a while, but those have since timed out. Easy last hit with the Relic Shield, and that means the squad comes down. A Moby's Rush for Huhi. Easy BF Sword recall on both sides for the 80 carries, doubled with a Longsword in there as well, so the Essence Reaver build. I like it about the same as Ruin King, honestly. It makes you a bit more of a spellcaster. It also means if your opponents have a lot of healing and shielding, you can actually still deal damage, because a 10% health tank just doesn't take damage from Ruin King anymore, and it feels like really bad trying to kill them off when they're just getting a Lux Shield and you can't break that anymore. So there's something said about not doing Ruin King. End of the day, Bjergsen is going to just get to stop Demonte's recall, but that means they're trading back and forth. It's a lot here. Oh my gosh, Bjergsen is running low on health. Could this be a kill without flash just outside the stun? And Demonte just going to clear the wave and get out.
Bjergsen barely skirting out of that outside of that stun. If that was me, I flash 100%. I would have been pretty scared about that actually landing, because that looked like his little pinky toe was still inside the stun. We'll see if they can catch him here with a stun.
Here's sighted flash. Cute. Ooh. Yeah, if he didn't dodge that ult, that was going to be a death, so he has to get the Shen ulti out. It's not going to hurt that badly for Hauntzer. His wave's at an okay spot, but
no, it's actually pushing away from him. It's going to push away from him, so it actually is pretty bad. Because that's going to stack on his side. And look at this combo. Biofrost in trouble. And that is the combo that you can kind of pull off here with Lux. And generally speaking, when I see this in Pro, what the Luxes will do is anytime they land a stun, like anytime they land a root or a trap or whatever, they'll just actually use the ultimate. It's a relatively low cooldown, and you can just use it for lane control. You're not building full AP, so it's not like the one-shot style of Lux. You know, this is Relic Shield generally straight into support items. So it's more about getting control there, more about getting that poke. TSM do spot them over here on this Rift Herald, but Bjergsen isn't there yet, so Broken Blade's just got to kind of run away, and I think they need to see this.
All right, Herald will be grabbed at 9 minutes, 12 seconds in. Plenty of time to drop that somewhere and give a lane some extra gold from turret plates. Haunts are going to knock down a ward. The Trinket comes down, so Broken Blade knows there's a gank path right now. And right now the top laners are pretty equal in farm and pretty equal in XP, as they are both level 8, ruining the synergy of the 7-7 and the CS department. That's okay. Give them 10 CS, it'll be prettier again. And regardless, around recalls come through again as Berserker Greaves come in for FBI. Double will match that before too terribly long, as you don't really want to lane with an item disadvantage, even if it's only Berserker's Greaves. Just tends to be impactful. So we'll see that probably come through fairly soon, as Bjergsen is going for Archangel's Staff as a slightly more defensive option for that shield to survive the Echo Burst.
Exactly, and also you have to remember that it's going to be Echo plus Shen in a side lane a lot of the time, where he'll have to be out in that side lane answering, and it's probably going to be him in a 1v2 with that, you know, Stand United coming through, so he wants that extra little bit of defense. You know, he went for the TP, he's not playing a defensive summoner, so that is going to help to make up for that. It's also worth noting that, you know, back on that Essence Reaver discussion a little bit for Ashe, because Caitlyn isn't playing Cleanse, we'll see if they can chase down Hui here, but probably not. So yeah, because FBI isn't playing Cleanse, like that is where they're going to actually look to attack it. It's interesting because generally speaking, the Caitlyn's will take Cleanse, you know, in this matchup, and I've heard, you know, some of the reasoning for going Essence Reaver specifically against Caitlyn is actually to tax the Cleanse cooldown. Essentially, every time your ultimate is up, you shoot the arrow out at the Caitlyn, and you try to make sure that you just have your ultimate up so much more often than Caitlyn can, you know, avoid and cleanse them. In this case, there's no cleanse at all, so I would like to see TSM trying to get somewhat proactive and actually attack FBI in the lane with that arrow, because if you wait till it's teamfight time, it's pretty hard to actually land an arrow on FBI, who's going to be behind the Volibear, behind the Shen, behind the Echo, you know? So really, like, this is their window to do it, but it doesn't seem like they're really attempting it.
Ooh, Red where he was, they land a lot of CC. Arrow's going to come down, jump back by FBI, not going to leave the stun on for too long, but Biofrost is flashless. FBI does burn the heal. Didn't end up having to do so, but he was afraid of getting counterpunched, I suppose. End of the day, summoner advantage very slightly with Golden Guardians.
Yep, another nice binding there from Hui, and this is, again, what I was talking about, where anytime you land a binding, you just ult it. You just say, all right, great, we have lane control, because if you can land that binding into trap, into ult, all the stuff hits, you can potentially 100 to 0 someone. In this case, Doublelift had a good counter ultimate, so he actually, you know, arrowed FBI, which is, I think, what spooked FBI into using his heal there defensively. But, you know, that also bought time for Biofrost to get out of the binding, so that the trap wasn't actually layered. But because of the gank, because of the last couple good bindings from Hui, it is now the Golden Guardians bottom lane who seem to have regained the push, and they're the ones really on the offensive here.
Monte not going to find the stun just yet, but that means that the Volibear certainly will, and Bjergsen's days are numbered. 18 seconds, 30 actually now till he respawns.
Yeah, Bjergsen going down very quickly there. Spica should be able to defend, but the Rift Herald's going to drop, so there will at least be 3 plates off this turret. He would have had the early flash. We'll see if Broken Blade wants to try to set up the dive. Now Haunter's definitely going to have to back it up, but Volibear is moving up here, so Broken Blade will have to be at least somewhat careful.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some damage in the top side, though, as well. Of course, Haunter down to about 1/3 HP, and he's not too far away from, you know, one-shot capability from Broken Blade. You can see, I believe he's bleeding plates down there as well, if I can read that properly. 2, I believe, are dead up there, so that's 300 gold above just the 7 CS difference. Broken Blade, as we mentioned, right, he got counterpick. He's supposed to be difference maker in this game. We have seen Vlad's carry team fights, and it can be very hard as a, you know, low MR AD carry or, you know, anyone else to just survive Vlad burst in the late game.
But right now, I mean, this is Golden Guardians again on the Dragon, and I feel like, you know, TSM needs to be the ones that are actually stacking Dragons to really have much chance in this game, because they're the ones that are really low on engage. They're the ones that are hurting for the win conditions as far as that is concerned. So the fact that Golden Guardians actually are the ones to get the first 2 Dragons means TSM will not be able to force them to come fight them at an opportune time. Because even if TSM grab, say, the next 2 Dragons, and they challenge to the next, whatever, you are now pushing back a potential TSM soul so late in the game that there's no pressure for Golden Guardians to ever pull out outside of their split push, right? They can afford to give up 1 or 2 Dragons before they care at all.
Right, and it allows time. It allows Golden Guardians 20 straight minutes of split pushing as a result, right? That's the end game is, well, we took Infernal Drake number 1, okay, we took your inhibitor turret. We took Infernal Drake number 2, well, we took your inhibitor. We took Infernal Drake number 3, well, your Nexus turrets are gone. It's like, well, at what point does Golden Guardians have to care? Is Infernal still better than Nexus? No. So that is the funny version of what you're talking about for, you know, the people with smaller brains like me who can understand. But Broken Blade is still farming up nicely. He is doing an early Spellbinder, it looks like, which is cool after getting the early CDR, then goes to the raw AP stack. That'll be fun to look at later on down the line. And of course, getting to jam Qs means you're invincible in the entire laning phase. And Hanser currently down a level, tries to wave through under turret, and, you know, yeah, that turret's at, you know, 15%.
But look at everyone coming top. 4 members from Golden Guardians up here on that top side. Broken Blade will be able to back it up. But yeah, this is a fairly standard Vladimir build, but it is interesting because I think more and more people these days are actually trying to skip some of the early CDR, like the Kindle Gem, and just go straight towards more raw AP. You know, I've been seeing a lot more people in solo queue do things like they just go the Fiendish Codex and CDR boots, and then they go straight into Spellbinder Deathcap, or, you know, Deathcap Spellbinder, whatever, to just get raw AP so that they can threaten the one shot on the backline. So when that team fight comes and you can flash on the Caitlyn and just try to absolutely delete them. You know, this does make your laning phase a lot easier when you go for these type of components, but then it's a question of, do you need the extra laning phase power?
Ooh, another bind's gonna land. No ult this time on Aspika, though it was up from cooldown. Decided it's not gonna be important in this case. He does a Merc Treads. End of the day, Spica walks away, not losing too much. Saves the ward. You can see Broken Blade is 2 autos away. Anytime you see the dash, just, hey, go into Sanguine Pool, land a couple of spells, and now could this be a real trade? Broken Blade, Empowered Q, deal some damage. And I don't believe at any point in time Broken Blade has used the ultimate. He's just sitting there, holding every cooldown he could ever need, ensure that he can get a small farm lead over Hanser and slowly whittle down that turret in a pretty much untouched top lane matchup. Solo first turret goes to Broken Blade.
It's really well done by Broken Blade, and I do think that Hanser took kind of the more cautious item build, because if you want to try to defend your tower, you can actually rush towards Tiamat and then have the wave clear to do that much more effectively, but you are also more at risk of getting dove, right? Because you don't have early MR, you don't have the HP of the cowl, so he did rush for the cowl, which made it harder to kill him, but easier to kill his tower, and that's kind of the decision that he did take. We'll see who gets this smite.
Fight over this one. Herald is going to be stunnable and smiteable, and it's going to go to Spica. Nicely done there. He's going to grab that one, no problem. Brooklyn in the back line. Big shields and FBI going to keep him safe. Knocking it out of Hemo Plague, and how about a re-engage? Is there one? Bjergsen on the side. Ult is going to come across, damage more towards Broken Blade, but he has a ton of healing and a ton of damage. Hanser is running out of health, and Devils is on the scoreboard with 1. Now the re-engage comes through, and they knock down the top laner, but it's a 4v4. Big Q going to come across, a stun, looking towards double. It's not going to catch him yet, but the root, it is a stun, but it's not enough, as Bjergsen cleans up a second kill and a third as well. TSM take that team fight, and Golden Guardians forced to run.
TSM getting a huge fight there. They even got the Rift Herald, as Golden Guardians committed so heavily to trying to kill off that Vladimir. The taunt flash from Hanser critically missing onto Broken Blade. And as they all go into the pit to try to take down this Vladimir, TSM wraps around on them with 3 members, and Spica just hops right back over the wall. They get shredded. Went from basically a dead even game to a 3,000 gold lead here for TSM. Bjergsen grabbing a couple kills for himself, and we all know how dangerous his Syndra can be with the lead. Over a 70% win rate on this champion all time.
Yeah, TSM looking really good now, 3,000 gold up. Analysts has all predicted that Golden Guardians would still win the run back, just a closer series than last time. 3-1 or 3-2 based on who you ask. TSM, though, seeming to have corrected? I don't know the past tense of righted. Maybe it's righted.
They're doing better.
They're doing better. The wrongs have been written. my brain keeps going written. That's the past tense of right, but it's the wrong right. All right, they've left Golden Guardians in the dust now as a 2.8 thousand gold lead comes in. We find more antonyms in the thesaurus, and let's move on forward. As Closer's going to knock this one down, no problem.
TSM's a bunch of MP turners this game. They can look either way, no problem. All right. So this next dragon, this feels like where TSM really needs a challenge. I don't think you can afford to just give up 3 straight dragons over to Golden Guardians, and it's just such an incredibly high risk then of one mistake equals soul, and that's generally like pretty game ending. So I want to see if TSM can now, with this gold lead, take this dragon. It feels incredibly important for them to be able to do, and Damonte going to take a little bit of a poke on that side. It may come down to the smite fight here. Golden Guardians does not look like they're posturing to actually fully commit to the fight, but they do look like they're going to try to go over and combo it.
Ooh, that was a nice one. It's picked up by the damage of FBI. The laser, the Q snipe, and Closer was there for good measure. I'm not even sure either jungler got the smite or it was slightly early from Speak. I couldn't quite tell which. The replay will tell us. But that is now Soul Point, Infernal Soul Point for Golden Guardians.
That was really well done from Golden Guardians. Closer didn't even smite. I think Spica did, but this is just a really high damage combo. This is actually really intelligent. If Golden Guardians feel like, okay, we can't actually win out on this fight, so they try to combo it. Lux E, Lux ult, Piltover Peacemaker, and Smite. That just gets burst down from actually a very high amount of health there.
Yeah.
Really well done by Golden Guardians. Of course, it looks a little bit silly, but it's like, if Spica didn't use his smite, and a split second later, Closer's going to smite it. So Golden Guardians, honestly, that feels like much more of an outplay than a misplay. And that is the risk of giving up those early dragons. Now you're in this spot where you have to contest from now until infinity. They started with the first 3, and if they get just one steal or one pick before a dragon, it could be game ending.
All right, well, Golden Guardians are down in money, and I will point out, we don't talk about it very much because the numbers are a lot smaller here, but the dragons that you pick up themselves are worth, some level of intrinsic value. It's, I think, what, 4 or 5% more armor and magic resist, and like 4% more attack damage and ability power. Like, that is some number of gold worth of stats, which shrinks the gold lead slightly. Obviously, the soul is the really important one, which is more like, 800 gold per player in a lot of cases. But, a small increment here, which keeps the game a bit close on the scoreboard. TSM, though, in general, have been winning fights, have felt like they've had somewhat control of the map, so I want to see if they can keep this going and get a clean Drake next time.
Yeah, and that's going to be the challenge, right? And, well, not quite able to stop that in time, but... this is always the risk, right? And there's kind of a couple different schools of thought. Generally speaking, everyone agrees the game right now is about Dragon Soul, and then it's just how do you want to get towards it? Do you want to try to go for early game control, stack the early dragons? That's kind of option number 1, which is what Golden Guardians ended up doing this game. And then there's option number 2, which is essentially what TSM did, and that is simply seeding the first 2 dragons and trying to get lane and gold advantages, and then hoping that you have enough of an advantage at that point to take Drake 3 and then the dragons forever then on. Obviously, the risk with that is that if you fail a fight or you're not able to win that 3rd dragon, then you're sometimes kind of out of it.
Sure. And it was cool that we saw basically both styles, right? Golden Guardians spent a couple of closer games to the bot lane. They did, in fact, stack the first 2 Drakes. And TSM solo turret killed top lane with a counter pick. Like, both playstyles were working out, and then the Drake steal happened. And it's like, well, that's the risk you're talking about. That's the difficulty. Yep. And now, okay, TSM, it is not absolute GG unwinnable if Soul goes over, but it is very Golden Guardians favored if it does happen. The saving grace being Infernal Soul doesn't save you when Vladimir one-shots Caitlyn. So, there's like, the counterplay still exists, but yes, it is so Golden Guardians favorite if TSM do not mount the comeback in the next 100 seconds.
And in the LCS, Soul has like a 90% win rate, just to give some context, right? And Golden Guardians actually did lose 2 Soul games themselves very early on, but that was with very weak late game comps. TP coming in, we'll see if they can find an angle here.
Nice slow. Volibear over the wall. Goodbye to Biofrost. Not really good way out of that one. You are Karma. You are easily attacked in the late game. You're picked for lane bullying, and the lane could not have been won in this game. So he will respawn in time for the dragon, but Golden Guardians get to take map control first.
And that's going to be a big advantage for them, right? Because now you have this support, this Karma, who is fairly vulnerable, and it's going to be really difficult for Biofrost to be moving around. There is potential of a dive here. Bjergsen and Speak have got to be careful. They know that the wraparound is there, so now they will move forward.
And here comes the flat flank. Here comes the big play. Shen ult over the top as well. A lot of burst damage. FBI is trying to run away. Again, the shields are coming in. He's trying to stay alive. Just mirror the shields for Hui, and they can't quite kill an FBI on a sliver of a fraction of a point of health. Walks away, and now this is a temporary 5v3 as Biofrost rejoins the fray in a second. But a 5v4 can still be tough. The health bars are low on Golden Guardians, and TSM are chasing them out of the jungle.
This is really smart. They're trying to stop them from basing before the dragon. This is exactly what TSM do need to do. If you can keep them around here, they won't be able to reset. But Damonte looking over the wall here for Spica.
Looking for damage on a Spica. When does he get to ult out? His health bar is a bit low. Heals back over 500. And the respawn coming in fairly soon. Broken Blade's alive in 12 seconds. Same time as the Drake, and he can run back across the map. Closer trying to heal up on the jungle camps. TSM are healthy. And despite losing their top laner, TSM have wrested control of the jungle and are poised to take the Drake.
That was actually really smart, but Closer doesn't flash. He has no ultimate. Bjergsen and Biofrost are zoning. There comes the Lux ulti, so this should be a TSM Dragon. Really intelligent playing calling to actually just chase them down after that fight, and now Closer is caught.
Yeah, stays a bit too long, but maybe it's a bait. Nah, he's got Spell Shield, no way you kill Bjergsen off that one. So a flashless Volibear could be a problem the next 5 minutes. Well done to TSM.
Yeah, that was just really heads-up thinking, because they realized, hey, we lost a member, but the health bars are so low, if we prevent the base, it doesn't matter, and that's exactly what they were able to do. But that fight was so close to going heavily in the favor of TSM, and that is the situation where I'm talking about, you know, how I was talking about the builds earlier, right? Where if you actually go for more of a raw AP build instead of this Kindle gem where you have just more CDR and it makes your lane a little bit easier, potentially Huhi and FBI die, right? Like, you could have a more powerful raw AP build at this time because he went for Void Staff, because he went for Kindle, as well as the Merc Treads. You know, he went more kind of itemized towards that 1v1 almost against Haunter. And he did get the turret as a result, so you know you have to give him that credit. But it's these little differences that sometimes can mean a lot.
Yeah, and of course it's more difficult as well because, like, hey, what if you would have dropped 5 CS because of not having the cooldown back up, or if that turret wasn't going to die in time, or, you know, a million other reasons, or we got a second queue up that fight because of CDR.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not that one is completely better than the other, and I know it's not the point that you're making. It's just to add context that, look, it's tough to make the exact call. Sometimes people call it losing the shopkeeper. Sometimes it's just impossible to know what the game's going to look like.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to each build, right? And that's kind of what you have to look at, and you have to make the decision. All right, when you're going for a Void Staff, to me that says Vladimir thinks that he's going to be hitting frontline, right? And that is going to be very effective if you're hitting this Shen with Cowl, you're hitting, you know, Closer who's building towards likely a Locket and stuff. That's great. But, you know, if you're getting straight onto a backline who had no MR, then obviously you don't need that as often. FBI in this case has gone for Hexdrinker third, so it's going to be valuable either way. We'll see how this game does go going forward, because TSM is going to have to challenge every single dragon from now on. And it does get more complex post 20 minutes because Baron becomes a legitimate threat. You know, when you have Lux here just AoE shielding your whole team, there's not a lot of inherent risk of starting up the Baron. So Golden Guardians can even attempt to look for the threat of trading a Baron for a dragon and all these sort of complexities, whereas TSM must be at the Dragon Pit every time.
Yes, they must be. And this is interesting because, of course, Hexdrinker has come in, third item for FBI, exactly the item he wants. You want some magic resist to handle this Vladimir. And the Void Staff is already there for it. He's like, look, I'm expecting Hexdrinker Death Dance from every AD carry in a game with Vladimir, so I'm just going to preempt that, get this item now, and then be ready to go. And so I don't know the exact math on if Death Cap or Void Staff is better per gold against a Hexdrinker. Probably stat sharded Caitlyn, who probably went MR stat shards looking at this game. Is like, I have 2 Assassin Mages and I'm laning against Karma. I should run 8 MR this game.
For sure.
But either way, like, it's okay. The build is kind of on pace for what he's kind of dealing with. And as the other items are coming through as well, Banshee's Veil is done for Bjergsen. His Void Staff's not far away, so he's also going to have some good target selection. A lot of Merc Treads for obvious reasons on the Golden Guardians front line, because again, it's a very mage-heavy team comp. And now we're ready to keep going as TSM are pushing in top tier 2.
That is half of Biofrost's health with just a casual poking ultimate there from the Caitlyn.
Yep.
That's the power of all this AD in the build. Double Tip Bjergsen are cut off, though.
This is a lot of damage. He's going to flash away, try to stay alive. Volley over the top. Goodbye to Ash. That's a shutdown, and Bjergsen just has absolutely nowhere to go. He's going to walk past the turret, guarantee the kill for good measure. One more turret shot will kill him. He's always dead. A time to run for an objective.
This is so bad for TSM, just poor positioning for them. They got split up, and Bjergsen and Double both go down. Even more might die here. Broken Blade trying to look for a potential flank, but otherwise, this is just Baron going to Golden Guardians, and they may just lose the game right off of this. We'll see if TSM can try to put a stop to this Baron attempt.
And they got to make sure Spica can't get in for the smite. He's going to have flash in about 2 seconds. He has smite right now, and they reveal it. They know what kind of health is that. Okay, 6k health. We've got a little bit of time still. Who he's not hitting, Demonte's not hitting. It's really only 1 carry dealing damage, but they're zoned out, and look how far back Spica is going. No one's going to try to steal, and look at the Drake timer. 45 seconds, instant 5-man recall. Pick your items up, grab elixirs, time to fight for Infernal Soul.
Exactly. I think the elixirs call is actually really smart here, because this is potentially game-ending damage here when you get the Baron, plus if you can grab this soul as well. So here it is one more time. And TSM just split up. You know, Biofrost is running out of there by himself. Spica is running out one way. Double Tip Bjergsen tried to go over to the rest of the team, but they get cut off. There's no blast plant there, and I'm not sure that they realized. Maybe on the mini-map, they hadn't seen the blast plant was missing or something, but they should have, because Biofrost went out that way. So honestly, just poor communication between TSM as a squad. If anything, they could have just walked straight up the lane together as a 4-man team, and that pick never would have happened. Instead, Golden Guardians gets them both. They get the Baron, and they are hunting for this soul.
This is the moment. If Golden Guardians get this Drake, it's almost unlosable.
16.
They're diving in for double. They can't quite kill him, but he's at 200 HP. That teamfight's going to be hard. Doesn't have a lot of lifesteal overall in this build. Didn't go Ruin King. He's going to try, knock down some of that bottom wave, get a bit of that there. Broken Blade still playing on the flank. He can be the difference maker.
He's 16,
nice
he has
stun,
flash. They got to go.
Damage onto Demonte. Here comes the play, and it's going to be claimed. Infernal Soul has been grabbed, and here comes the stun to the front line. Looking to kill FBI. Flash from the wall. Hexbreaker pops. Broken Blade's in there. A flash shield. Who he tries to keep alive, and he frickin' does it. What a team fight there. Golden Guardians get 2 kills, and they get out. FBI refuses to die.
Golden Guardians get everything, not even losing a single member. Huhi with the absolute hero play there, flashing in for the shield after the Hex Drinker had been already popped, and now Golden Guardians marching in here with the Baron, with the Soul. They have taken full control of this game. They're going to get mid lane inhibitor for sure, and Double may just die.
There is no way to live through this one. Golden Guardians poised to close out the first game of this series. TSM made them work for it, but Golden Guardians 4 playoff wins in a row over TSM. This best of 5 puts them 1 away from Worlds as they're going to close down game 1. Still 2 more Nexuses to kill, but Golden Guardians pick up where they left off, destroying TSM on Summoner's Rift.
What an explosive finish here from Golden Guardians. It felt like TSM